You're listening to Sports Connections with David Smale.
When you finally got your first full season with the Royals, you got to play for your dad, and we talked about that earlier. You're one of 4 Major League ball players to play for their dad as manager. First of all, what was that like?
It was a little odd because growing up, we were always coming and going. I didn't see him a lot during the season because of his commitment and what he had to do to, with the Royals from February to October, and more times than likely later in October because they were in the playoffs. And then with me and school, and the hours just don't work for a baseball family to see their dad that much when you're growing up, because I didn't go to a lot of games during school because games run late and school in the morning. Yeah. Dad gets home late from games. We're already asleep for the most part. You wake up in the morning, go to school. Your dad's asleep still because he's late and it has a night game. So it was the first time that the family was together and got to do normal type family activities during a baseball season where we traveled together and all that. So initially it was just odd because the family hadn't been together during a baseball season, during a regular 8 months of the baseball season from spring training to the end of the year. And once the newness wore off, and probably by 93, it probably took a year and a half or so. 93 and 94 felt real comfortable. 90, when he came over in 91, I think it was, because Wathan was, yeah. So when he came over in 91, it was odd. And the whole 92 season was just odd. We got off to a great, terrible start, and, it wasn't great results for anyone there. But 93 and 94 felt normal, and people kind of left us alone and didn't make such a big deal about a father-son manager-player deal. And I think that helped me because I didn't like all the questions about that. You can only answer them a certain way, and people ask the same question all the time. And I wanted the focus to be on what we were doing on the field, winning or losing ball games, and how we were performing, and not about the father-son relationship and how that affected things.
Hey, it's interesting. I hadn't thought about that particular angle of it, of maybe to a certain extent getting to know him a little bit, knowing what kind of a manager he would be, knowing what kind of knowing what kind of a player you would be.
Take it for granted that you get to see your father, if your mother and father are married, and you get to see them every day. They take that for granted, where this is like a military family. You don't see your father every day. Yeah. And he's gone for stretches at a time. It's not long like a deployment, but there were times where the family would go a few months maybe without seeing a whole lot of one of the main figures in the household. And a lot of people, you take that for granted, where you come home and you see your both parents every day, and that just doesn't happen. And after 23 years or 24 years, I finally got to see my dad on almost an everyday basis. So that was kind of cool.
We've all seen instances, maybe it's little league or even high school or something like that, where the father/manager is tougher on his own kid than he is on the other players. Did you ever sense that your dad was holding you to a different standard, or once you get to the majors, he's holding everybody to a high standard?
I think once you get to the big leagues, it's different because it's performance-based and you're trying to win ball games, and there's money and titles and things like that at stake. So I didn't think that was any issue. And plus, I was there. I felt good about my standing on the team because I was there before my dad got there.
Right. Yeah, even though he had a history with the team.
A year of big league time before my father came along.
Yeah.
So I felt good about that. That made the transition a little bit smoother because I was already there.
And he had a history with the team, but he had been away for a while as well. Right. He was coaching somewhere?
I think this last year, and then he went on to Montreal. So he was away for a while I was in the minor leagues. And then I got called up. So like I said, I felt a lot better because I had already been there before he came, and I'd already, not long, but I'd been there long enough where I was called up without my dad being in the talks of anything that was going on regarding my progress and me getting to victory.
Thanks for listening to Sports Connections with David Smale. Make sure to subscribe, follow, and rate the show from your favorite podcast platform. You can learn more about David Smale and his work by visiting davidsmalebooks.com. Don't forget to join us weekly for new episodes. Until next time.